face to face through the computer screen. And it will take 260 students in chemistry and physics and biology.
Professor Crawford, is what's it rubbish? Like, do you know what's it's crisps? Are they rubbish? Do you know what?
Crisps are rubbish. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
You heard it here.
These are what we call film covers. These are things when you're working with chemicals that are give off toxic gases. So you put the chemicals in there to work with, and there's a strong current of air takes all the toxic gases away and protects you. So here we are. You see now. You're getting a good view from it, don't you?
Oh, snow. Oh, snow. Oh, snow. Oh, snow. Imagine me and you there.
You need to look at the labels of these things. Oh. Well, there you are. Orange juice drink. Now, why do they make it as a juice drink? Why don't they just give you plain orange juice? And the reason for that is that they probably put sugars in. They've got 10.8 grams of sugar in here. Now, I would have preferred to have something that was pure orange juice, not a juice drink where they put a little bit of orange, genuine orange in, then a lot of sugar. There's an epidemic of obesity, and this is all put down to things called empty calories, where you have sugar, for example, with no nutrients associated with them. And your body needs nutrients to make it work. Salt and vinegar flavor, it says. Well, we eat far too much salt, and that leads to high blood pressure, and that makes your brain not work properly, and eventually will cause a stroke, which will paralyze part of your body. So that's in the rubbish bin as well. All walkers, we believe that crisps should taste fantastic, so we've made them better for you without changing the taste at all. They now contain 70% less saturated fat, because they're cooked in one of the healthiest oils that is called sunseed. Okay. This bag contains 0.3 grams of salt. Well, that's quite a lot of salt, 0.3 grams of salt in the bag. And I guess a child would take one of these bags and just eat the whole thing. And so I would throw that out as being useless. If there was a sort of intermediate house, could we put them in an intermediate house? Because chocolate's not particularly harmful, and the flour and all that stuff that goes into making the biscuits is not too bad. A lot of the problem is that, again, they used to use a lot of salt, but they say they've reduced the salt. Sesame snaps. For a 30-gram pack, there's 163 calories. There's 542 calories per 100 grams. That's unbelievable. Now this is, I would say this was one of the obesogenic things. I wouldn't have thought I would want to eat that. Sunseed, one of the healthiest oils there is, Walker's. This is really cheesy. Now this is another packet of these cheesy crisps, isn't it? What is it? What does it say? I don't think there's many of these things. Typical nutritional values. Energy. What? It's 104 calories per pack. But per 100 grams, so there can't be much in these, it's 545 calories. 100 grams, that's unbelievable. Right. Nutritional information for genius. Okay. Energy. Again, this is for these things are absolutely packed full of calories. It's quite incredible. And this has got 51.6 grams of sugar. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's possible to do this. 51.6 grams of sugar per 100 grams of product.
That's half.
You have looked at that?
That's ridiculous. Sugar makes you sucky. If you wanted to be a bodybuilder, would you eat a lot of saturated fats?
No. Last thing you'd want to do, if you wanted to just to be a bodybuilder and have a very short life, then you could eat a lot of saturated fat. But I wouldn't think why you'd want to do that. The reason for this is that to build your body, you need to have good blood vessels to feed the muscles. And if you have bad blood vessels that are clogged up with saturated fats, then it's not going to help to build muscles. So the answer is no.
Thank you for the interview. I'll pass you on to Sean.
Okay.
Can Gabriel just ask you a question?
How does it feel to be a professor?
What?
How does it feel to be a scientist?
How does it feel to be a professor? I've no idea. It's just a name they give you because you've done certain things in your life and achieved certain things. And so you get this label.
Do you eat lots of fruit?
Do I eat a lot of fish?
Fruits.
Fruit. I eat a lot of fruit. I eat a lot of fish. And do you know why I eat a lot of fish?
For
Why?
protein, so you can have omega-3.
Oh yeah, wow.
Omega-3 is brain power.
Omega-3 is brain power.
help you with your job.
This is really something. Wow. Let me explain this to you, this omega-3 story. Because we were the people who discovered it in 1972. Now, what do you think makes us different from other animals?
Ooh, behavior.
Your behavior. Yeah, okay. What does your behavior depend on?
Well, basically, you don't act the same. Like you're more calm. The genes. Or to get a job. Genes.
We can talk. They can talk
We can
in their own
talk.
language.
Well, dolphins can talk.
Oh, we eat.
Dolphins have a language.
We don't eat each other.
The difference between us and other animals, can we run faster than a cheetah?
No.
No.
Are
Are we stronger than a gorilla? No.
They got 4 legs.
Are we bigger than a hippopotamus?
No.
No. So what have we got that's bigger than any of these other animals?
Brain.
Yes! Brain. Well done.
Brain power.
Brain power. The interesting thing about the brain, it's made of fat. But it's very, very special fat. It's these polyunsaturated fats. And the omega-3 fats, as you know, are used for it. Now, where did these omega-3 fats come from?
Oh, the fish.
Yes.
Fish's body cells.
Fish. You're right.
Because
And
of the brain, because of the head and the eyes and the fish tail.
that's, you're absolutely, hey, how do these guys know all this?
But I like fish because I like fish eyes. When I eat fish, I really try to avoid the bones.
Yeah, well, you don't have to eat bony fish. The chemistry of the brain was built out of the sea, out of the nutrients of the sea. That's why fish and seafood are good for the brain. Okay?
I tasted seaweed.
Seaweed's good.
Okay, I tasted it, it's good.
Seaweed's good. Seaweed used to be used quite a lot in this country too. The Welsh made lava bread out of seaweed. And the Irish used to farm seaweed. They've started to farm it again, edible seaweed. It's very good for you. If you go to Indonesia or India, you'll find a lot of iodine-deficient people. But you don't find iodine-deficient people around the coastline because that's where all the iodine is washed from the land into the sea, and the seaweeds pick it up. So it's a good thing, it's seaweed.
If someone ate all of these and they were only about 9, what will happen to them?
Well, to be honest with you, if somebody lived on that sort of stuff for a long time, you could predict that they could predict that they would get a bad heart and that they could get a stroke, they could get diabetes, they would get a lot of nasty things.
What's diabetes, Chris?
Well, diabetes is a sort of a form of, it's difficult to explain to young people. It's a disease where you're not able to handle sugars. This kind of food is not of value unless you're absolutely desperate for energy. And it's far better to completely ignore them altogether, or alternatively to choose some kind of healthy options. You know, if you're hungry, have a couple of carrots in your pocket or something like that. The light comes into your eye from the sun as little packets or photons. You can never see a photon because they're all so tiny. They're all little waves that come straight in, and they stimulate things. And the molecule that is used to accept or receive the light is vitamin A. And vitamin A is made from beta-carotene. And carrots are one of the richest sources of beta-carotene. So that's why carrots are also good for helping your vision. I think they should go away and think about what their food does for their bodies. How, you know, think about, for example, fish we know has a good range of micronutrients, and the omega-3 fatty acids are important for the brain. That stuff has absolutely nothing for anything. And so it's true that we are what we eat. And I think it would be interesting for children to become more interested in where food comes from, what its nature is, and how important it is, or how unimportant it is, depending on the type of food, to their bodies and to the performance of their bodies. There's such a wealth of good food and interesting stuff there. If you eat this on the stuff that's on the floor, this puts you off eating real food. If you eat the real food, then you don't want to and don't need to have that stuff. So it swings and roundabouts. The more of this stuff you eat, the less of the real food you eat. And the real food, like cod, mackerel, salmon, good meat, chicken, whatever, fruit, vegetables, potatoes, all that kind of stuff. That's where you'll find the nutrients. You don't find nutrients here. You have to have nutrients to enable your brain to work.